So hello, namaste, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, or maybe even good evening in whichever part of the world you are joining us from. My name is Deepak R. Khemani and I am one of the co-founders of Bloom. Bloom, which was established 2 years ago during the pandemic, we now are successfully running our 106th non-stop Sunday Bloom Talk Show. Bloom has got together people from various facets, various geographies, different countries. We've had speakers from India, Australia, the US, Europe, Africa, and more. The Bloom platform has been graced by professionals, speakers, coaches, trainers, mentors, a 4-time Olympian athlete, a world powerlifting champion, race car drivers, captains, brigadiers from the army, people who have flown aircraft, people who have been pilots, doctors, and many, many, many more. Continuing that tradition, today we have with us CA Shivani Gupta. As the name suggests, CA, Chartered Accountant. Having said that, she wears multiple hats. So she's the author of a #1 Amazon best-selling book. She's an NLP practitioner, a thinkovator, as she calls herself. She's a success and a mindset coach, a LinkedIn expert, and faculty at ICAI. She's also a speed reader and a content creator. There are many, many more things we will learn from her in the course of this next 1 hour. Welcome to the show, Shivani Gupta.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. And I'm privileged to be speaking here at the latest platform of Bloom. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Shivani, for joining us. I gave a brief introduction of what you do. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, how you started, how you finally managed to get your CA, which people say is very, very tough. And then after becoming a CA, you are talking about NLP and mindset and thinkovator and so many other things. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
So actually, I have taken commerce background from grade 9 to 12. My father passed away in 2000, so it was a bit difficult time, and there were some financial constraints that led me to choose the career of CA, which was the best CA profession in commerce field, and probably the most cheapest profession also at that time. So that brought me to become a CA. After that, after qualifying CA, I qualified in first attempt for the groups of finals. So that even without expecting, but with a positive and mental mindset, I somehow able to crack it, and it made me feel like top of the world. But after my I worked for 3 years with Multi Masala Group as a financial controller. And after that, I got married and moved abroad. So that gave me a halt in my career. And moving from one country to another, and my kid was young. So it gave me a decade-long break. But something was building inside of me. I started looking at people's story at different websites, what they are doing, how they are doing. So after a 3 years gap, I was building a little bit of frustration within myself that nothing is working out for me. Yeah. So that led me to towards the fields of reading, visiting different websites, what people are doing, how they are doing, and that created an interest of blogging. Actually, I wanted to blog. I was already blogging on CA updates and other things since long. But that gave me a wider perspective about living a beautiful life in spite of all your setbacks. So that brought me to I started a Learners Club, a blog where I shared one learning every day. But somehow after the change of places, it also came to a stop. Then sometimes I carried it forward. Sometimes I stop, and that but there was something in me that was compelling me to go forward and pursue my dreams. Then I developed a habit of reading self-help books, and that gave me a too much boost to go forward. And this reading habit is the root cause of developing this mindset. And as my mindset changed, things started to change, and I started taking action. I decided that it's now or never. So I have to start somewhere. So that led me to start on this journey of becoming a mindset coach. And after after visiting so many things, what I discovered is this field of speaking and writing are the one that will lead you ahead.
Yeah.
So that bring me to this field.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And we all know, we have heard this before, that success, if you want to achieve success, skills is only 20% and mindset is 80%. So
Right,
tell us a
right.
little bit about how a person changes his or her mindset. One, what do you actually mean by mindset? Is it the way we were brought up? Is it the country in which we were brought up? Is it the area in which we were brought up? Is it, the community in which we were brought up? Does that help, make the mindset of a person when he or she is growing up? Or is it something else?
Actually, our mindset is framed from everything around us. It starts framing our belief system, our mindset starts framing from the day we are born, from the surroundings, environments, situations, and people we are surrounded with. So everything and whatever happens in our life, that makes our belief system. But when you look inside out, and when you introspect, you gain knowledge about things, you start developing a sense, and then your perspective changes.
Yes.
So for me, it was books. Reading books gave me a lot of insights and broadened my areas of vision.
Yes.
So that led me to think and change my mindset.
Wonderful. So for somebody who is starting out, who has just completed his or her studies, is just stepping out into the corporate world, is stepping out to work or start a business, or, even become a professional, how does that person, first of all, know whether he or she has the right growth mindset? And if not, how do they develop that mindset?
Actually, when you are studying, you have a very limited mindset. That is, you see only that you get a job, and you get going, you start following others.
Yes.
That you see others are doing. You do have limited area of people and exposure, and that hinders you to grow forward.
Yes.
But when you start connecting with different kind of people, you start gaining insights what and how, what can be done and how you can do it.
Yes.
So that makes a difference. So first thing is you start meeting with different kind of people. So it will give you a boost in your understanding of life and more things. So what perspectives you are holding, they may be right from your perspective, but they can be wrong too. So anything has always has three perspectives. That is my perspective, your perspective, as well as the perspective from a third person's view. So and in every case, all the three can be right.
Yeah.
Here is one great example. It's written 6 on the floor, and one person is reading it from the side of 6, and one is reading from the side of 9. So both perspectives are correct. But actually, we see only our limited perspective, not the other person's perspective.
Yeah.
So that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
So when we start seeing the positive intention behind any negative behavior that the other person is behaving, or the seeing the particular situation from another angle, our perspective changes.
Yeah.
So that leads to a mindset change.
Yes, yes. What you are looking and what somebody else is looking at the same time can be totally, totally different. Now,
To emphasize,
yeah,
yeah, you need to empathize with the other person and go into his soul to see the real situation.
yes. Okay. So what happens is, we are always told by our mentors, by our coaches about thinking big. Everybody says, think big. Bada socho. How big is
Right.
big? For somebody who has very, very limited means, he will only think that much, just a little bit higher. Somebody who's right on top, how bigger can he think? So what does think big mean and how does it work out?
Actually, think big means stretching yourself to the next levels, and it is a continuous process, not limited to a certain point. So, like a fish in a small aquarium, even if it thinks big, it can think only to the level of that aquarium. A fish swimming in the sea has no boundaries or limitations.
Yes. Wonderful. Very, very well explained. If you are a fish in a pond, you are limited to the size of the pond. If you are a fish in an ocean, the world is the ocean. Okay. So the point taken. Now, there are times in life where you feel really, really down. You've tried everything. You've given it your best. You've taken those baby steps, then you've improved, and then you've tried to going to the next level. But somehow things do not work out. And many people just give up at that time. What is your message to those people, and how would you take these people from where they are to where they want to be?
Really, that happens. And the first key is the belief. Listen to your inner voice. That is the belief you carry within you that everything will be, nothing is permanent actually. So even your troubles are not permanent. So you can rise above that and come out of the situation. It all depends on the timings.
Yes.
So when the time is right, you will definitely grow and succeed.
Yes. As it is said, this too shall pass. So good days will pass, bad times will also pass, things will always change, and we can always hope for the better. 2 years back, we were all locked down in our houses. We were told not to go out. We were told to wear masks. And suddenly everything is gone. Sab kuch theek ho gaya. Nobody is wearing masks. Everybody is back to where they were, where they started. Everybody is back in business.
So another key is thinking long term and not giving up.
Yes.
When you believe, you don't give up and think for the long term, things really start working.
Yes. Yes. Now, again, I'm coming back to the growth mindset sort of thing. Everybody talks of abundance. They say that there is abundance of everything in the world. Whatever you want, whatever you wish for, you can manifest. Having said that, is it that only the rich are manifesting money, or the successful athletes, successful sportsmen, successful businessmen are manifesting? What about people who are trying but they are unable to manifest? What happens to those people?
Actually, what happens is everything in this universe is made up of energy. And whatever we are speaking, we are thinking, that every aspect manifests in our life. Till we get to know this knowledge, we dig deeper into these insights, we connect with the spiritual things along with our professional things, we will not be able to understand the law of attraction. So, as per my understanding, it really works, and it starts working when you cut off with every negative thought. So everything begins with a thought. You have to cut down on your negative thoughts, and the best thing I can suggest is switch with a smile. So your smile is that switch which is in your control. And the process I have explained in my books, that is superpower mindset, this one. So it is a superpower mindset. The technique is whenever you get negative thoughts in your mind, start making a smile. And if you cannot, you fake it till you make it.
Yes.
So this thing, when you will get into a smile, your moods will automatically change, because humans cannot stay in two emotions together at any particular time. So when you are in a happy mood, you cannot be in a negative mood, because even a single negative thought brings a chain of reaction in your mind, and it connects to more negative thoughts, and then hence it changes your moods, changes your emotions, and emotions changes your behavior and hence actions. So consciously think, if even if things go wrong or somebody behaved in an unwanted manner, you can actually switch with a smile, thinking, why should I spoil my next moment, next week, or next month, or even years?
Yes.
Stay in a negative or resentment.
You can't
Actually
have
switch it.
you can't have two emotions together. If you force yourself, even if you are faking it, once you
Right.
are in that mood of smiling, when you have got into that mode, the chances are that that negative feeling will go away, and the positive emotion will take over, and everything begins with a smile.
Everything begins with a thought, and you can switch with a smile.
Yes, everything begins with a thought, and you can stretch it with a smile. And as they say, wherever focus goes, energy flows. You said everything is energy. So if you are focusing on the positives, chances are that that positive will grow. If you focus on the negatives will start growing. Yes. So talk to us about what you say is the lens of possibility. What does that mean, and how does that work?
Actually, lens of possibility is the people who achieve, they see the future, not the leaving whatever happened in the past. You cannot change it. What you can do is building or creating your future. So you never look in a person what he or she is currently at that level. You never know what can happen over time, or who can grow to what extent. The greatest example is our president, 15th president of India. Nobody expected that she will be the president. And so you cannot judge anyone, or you cannot judge a book by its cover.
Yes. Yeah, you cannot judge a book by its cover. And since we are on the topic of the book, tell us a little bit about your book, how that came. How did you think that, I want to write a book? Is it a collection of experiences of a lot of people? How did your book happen?
Actually, it was somewhere inside me since years to write books. And after reading so many books, I got into the flow of writing. And I started a book called Do You Think of Age? After attending this is speed reading. After learning speed reading, I got connected with a lot of great writers and readers. And the thought came after learning creativity. I have coined a term of thinkovation, that is thinking combined with innovation. So what is creativity is combining any two random subjects and making something useful out of it. So I thought and reflected on certain things, and then I got an idea that everything starts with a thought, and then some person carries it forward with a belief and involves an innovation into it. That things bring us some great product, some great company, or something alike that goes global or big. So that's why everything starts with thinkovation. So I'm bringing the book, Do You Think of It? But in between, I got an opportunity to write this book, Superpower Mindset, that is written with 12 other co-authors, that those who are experts in different fields, in which there are CAs, doctors, the Navy person is also there, and many other professionals.
Wonderful.
So it is a combination describing mindset for 12 different aspects of life. How can you develop a great mindset?
Yes. So since we are on the mindset and we are talking about growth, how does one develop in a growth and exponential mindset? We know about linear and we know about exponential. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Actually, exponential and linear is just thinking a normal way, just as every one of us think that we grow every year 10-15%, and then like that. But still, if you like, you started with 100 rupees, you gaining, so you will take around 10 years to multiply it to double if you
Correct.
are growing with the 10% rate.
Correct.
But
Correct.
in case of exponential growth, what happens is the growth happens like doubling. So you grow from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, and it suddenly starts. But in that, you have to start with a long-term vision, and you have to invest your time and energy in initial stages to build that thing, whatever you are believing. And then a certain point comes in the graph, which is called a bed. When we study the graph of exponential and linear thinking,
Yes.
it is the bed where the growth starts happening at a excess exponential rate, where you cannot growth is more than what you can handle.
Yes.
So before that, what is called the expectation gap.
Yeah.
So at this point, most people quit because they are not gaining any returns. So because the ROI is very little in that stage, most people quit to linear thinking.
Yes.
So that needs not giving up attitude, and a solid, uh, what you call solid belief in you to go forward without giving up.
Yes. So, the advantage of being a host in a program is you can do a little bit of self-promotion. You can show off a little bit. So I was just thinking about what you were talking. This is exactly what I have written in my book. It's just a different language, different words. Exponential growth is all about compounding. That's why it's called the eighth wonder of the world. And that is my book, which I have written. And I'm also saying something very, very similar to what you are saying, but in a different perspective. Basically, it is all about compounding. It is all about investing in yourself. It is about believing in yourself. So you mentioned about these levels of thinking. Just tell us a little bit about these levels.
Actually, the level of thinking, there are 6 levels of thinking. So most people are engaged in the initial 2 levels, that is day-to-day living and carrying your livelihood. So when our minds are free from these two, then only you can think of the above levels of short-term goals, responsibility, and then after rising from these 2 levels only, you can think for the long-term goals and life's purpose. So actually, each individual must be living for his or her life's purpose, but due to the shackles of these day-to-day livings, our mindset somehow don't grow to that level, and we keep running the rat race, following others.
So most of us are engaged in our day-to-day activities. We have to reach office in time. We have to finish the work which was planned for today. We have to drop the children to school. Ladies have to, get the kitchen work done and then make the food. Everybody is busy in that first level. The second level, which you mentioned, is immediate goals. So I want to prepare for my exams, which are upcoming. I want to wait for my salary so that I can pay my bills. There are these immediate goals, 2 levels of thinking. Once I rise above these levels, then you are talking about responsibilities. Then these are the things which you are planning for. My child is growing up. I have to plan for his or her higher studies, probably child getting married, probably starting a new business for the children. Next, responsibilities. Then there are short-term goals, and then there are long-term goals. Finally, when all this is achieved, you reach your life purpose. And I just want to ask you about this. You mentioned this in the beginning also. I'm marrying these 2 things. One is life purpose, and you said you have to be spiritually inclined also. You have to understand spirituality. So just tell us about life purpose and spirituality.
So actually, we all need to actually we all need to discover our passion and make a certain contribution because we came here in this world, so it's our responsibility to fulfill our life's purpose. So we all need to discover it, what we are here, why we are here, and what we need to do. So the thing is, what makes you come alive? What makes creates a sense of happiness in you?
Yes.
So that brings you alive, come
Yes.
alive, and you don't feel fatigue performing those functions. That is called the passion or your bias.
Yeah. So, in olden days, when spirituality was concerned, you had, these 3 or 4 stages in life. When you were children, then you got married, then you had more, you were children, you got married, you had children, and then there was a retired life. For a retired life, sannyas hota tha. You give up all your worldly possessions, your worldly things, and go and meditate in the mountains. Now that is not possible in today's world. We can't do that.
Right.
So how does a person be involved in his family and day-to-day activities and also become a little spiritually inclined? How does that happen?
Actually, that can happen just when you start listening to your inner voice and connecting with things or learning in these aspects as well. So for me, it started with connecting with great mentors and and developing a L3 mindset, that is lifelong learning. So when you start learning, you start developing things. Growth happens gradually.
Yes. So I just again want to expand on this lifelong learning, the L3 mindset. Many people will think, I have done my school, I have done my graduation, my learning period is over. Now my life is to go out, make money, or blah, blah. And then you hear from mentors, and I also heard the same thing from you just now, lifelong learning. You have to keep on learning, unlearning, and relearning what you have learned. So what you may have learned 20 years ago may not be relevant today. What I'm learning today may not be relevant 5 or 10, even 20 years hence. A little bit more about the lifelong learner concept.
Actually, we all need to keep learning, because of some people think that I have done so much studies, or I have done this and that, and they stop learning and they start developing a fixed mindset. We must learn from the nature itself. Either you are at a growing stage or you start perishing.
Yes.
So once you stop growing and learning, you will start to stagnate.
So if you are not growing, you are dying. If you have stopped learning, if you have stopped upskilling, if you have stopped upgrading yourself, you have actually started dying. Yes, so very, very well said. Now, the mindset, the abundance, it's all about reprogramming your subconscious. Everybody tells us, there is the conscious mind and then there is a subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is more powerful. You need to get in touch with it, reprogram it. It will help you grow. How does one connect with one's subconscious, and how does one try and reprogram it?
So developing subconscious is we may be holding some limiting beliefs. That is, our brain has a cognitive bias. That is, sometimes we think we are right, but actually we are not. So that happens. This cognitive bias is with every person in this world. Yes. So there are certain devising strategies that are learned. So with those devising strategies, or the effects of anchoring, or developing yourself into a learning mode, will help you reach those mitigate your these limiting beliefs and gain your subconscious mind to a next level.
Yes.
And so there is one rule that is called 1991 rule, in which you must devote your first 90 minutes of next 90 days to master one skill. So in this case, you start with training your subconscious. The other things will start falling in place following it. And
Okay,
this
so
applies to learning any new skill also.
yeah. So this is my learning for the day, lifelong learning, the 90-90 rule. Spend 90 minutes on what you want to learn for the next 90 days.
90 days.
Yeah, 90 days. Then it will become a habit. And once we know we've acquired a habit, it keeps on just being there, staying there. This is the way you tap into your subconscious. This is the way you reprogram your subconscious. Now, I just want to take you to something which happens with mostly all of us when we were growing up, and even when we become parents. When we see a child who's probably doing something which we don't think he is possible, or we don't think he will be able to do, or we don't like, we will tell him, ye tere se kabhi nahi hoga, you will never be able to do this, why are you doing this? How do we as parents change this talk so that we inspire our youngsters, even if they make a mistake? ठीक है, no problem, ये चीज तोड़ दी ना, doesn't matter, मैं दूसरी लेके आ जाऊंगा, keep on doing, pursue your passion. What is your message to parents if they are listening to this program right now?
Actually, this happens with everyone, even with me. It happens while handling my child. So we have to change our behavior. Instead of we must give freedom to kids to perform certain things. And while they are performing, we must keep our thoughts positive. Actually, whatever we are speaking is manifesting somewhere our fears or our negative thoughts. Actually, human mind is much biased towards negativity. The moment something happens, we start thinking of something going wrong. We never
Yes.
start thinking of something going right.
Yes.
That's the reason you will never find a book how to, you will find a book on how to come out of depression, but never on how not to come out of depression. So that is a basic human tendency, human nature, or you can say the bias that a human mind carries.
Yeah.
So the moment we encounter the negative words, we have to switch it with a positive thinking.
Yes, yes. And I remember clearly, and your namesake, Sister Shivani, she had given this example, in one of her programs, which I was listening. She said, you have a child, and for some reason today, after coming back from school, he or she is late. The first thing in your mind is, what may have happened? Kuch accident to nahi ho gaya hoga, kuch gadbad to nahi hogi. We start thinking all negative things, why the child is late and what may have happened. We don't think positive. नहीं, कोई friend के साथ होगी, she must be coming back, she must be walking, शायद रिक्शा नहीं मिली होगी, that is why she is late. This is, this is things which are inbuilt into our mind. As you said, negativity is first thing that comes into the mind. We have to replace it by positive thoughts. Only then things will start happening. We will start manifesting. Now I want to bring in a little bit about your NLP experience. How does NLP help in this growth mindset or reprogramming your mind?
Actually, till I did my NLP course, I was also not knowing the field very much. So after gaining insights, I got to know how a small difference can change the whole perspective. So even changing a little environment or little word in your speech, you can influence others and make the situations work in your favor. So I can quote an example. There was a picture of two cars that were very close, just like an accident. So a different groups of people were asked different same question, showing the same picture, and they were asked. Somebody was asked like the word was changed as when these cars. The question was when these cars hit, what were the speed of these cars? So the change of word like hit, smashed, collided, and alike words were used for different groups of people. And you will wonder the answers that came, they differ in the average number of speeds the people said from 31 miles to 41 miles. So that just use of single word, hit, smashed, collided, or alike words. So everyone's perspective change.
Yes.
And similarly, this trend is also this anchoring technique is also used by most of the brands in selling things to us. When we see a price called $300,
Yes.
we see that it is a costly product. But when we see it $600 and then the price is cut down to 50%, we estimate the cost to be somewhere around $500, and we are getting it at a discounted rate.
Yes.
So that's one of the cognitive bias that these big brands are just encashing.
Yeah, you know, I mean, NLP and these biases are extensively used by marketers to sell more to us, to make us buy more, to make us buy more costlier things, and buy this buy one get one offer, and these discounts, supposed discounts which are given to us, they make us assume that I am actually buying something which is cheaper. You know, they say, as in the stock market, you know, whenever you are buying something, there is always a seller, and both think they are right. The buyer is thinking मैंने आज अच्छी चीज खरीद ली, और बेचने वाला सोच रहा है मैंने तो right price में बेच दी, and both are right. So there is a question from CA Pankaj Agarwal. He asks about expanding NLP. Now I understand what NLP is, but for the audience, just let's go to a little bit of basic and explain what NLP is.
Actually, NLP is the full form of neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro means your nervous system. Linguistic is the way we communicate our language. And programming is the connection of your neurons and your nervous system, and how we conceive things and perceive things into a better version, so that you can have an influence. And most great leaders, top speakers and coaches, they already know NLP and use it to advantage to influence their audience or their clients to take decisions in their favor.
Yes. So I'll just give CA Pankaj Agarwal a very, very small example. Pankaj, can I see you, or if you could unmute yourself? Yes, sir. Okay. So very, very common example of neuro-linguistic programming is when I ask anyone, you know, what was your grade in the 10th standard? What was your percentage? You will remember it, 75, 80, 85. If I ask you the same question, I'll tell you how much you got in the 9th standard, most of us will not remember. Why? Because for us, the 10th standard was a stepping stone for going into college. SSC mein kitna mila, HSC mein kitna mila. Once that neuro connection has been established, we will never forget that marks. But 9th standard के बारे में तो कभी किसी ने पूछा ही नहीं, तो वो neurons की connection बनी नहीं तो वो memory में कहीं है ही नहीं, ऐसा है. So neuro-linguistic programming, anything which we remember in the brain, because two neurons have fired, a circuit has gone been made, and it is stored there somewhere in memory. So by saying things, by doing repetition, by, you know, she said about habits 90-90. Once we start doing that, that is all part of neuro-linguistic programming, where we are programming our brain. ऐसा सोचो, negative नहीं सोचो, positive सोचो, सब अच्छा होगा. Just a small example.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You want to add anything, Shivani?
So you can ask.
Okay. So at this point, if there is anybody in the audience who would like to ask Shivani any question, please unmute yourself and ask her. Abhijit, are you around?
Yeah. So Deepak, what I want to ask Shivani is that how come from chartered accountancy, which deals with numbers, to something on neurons and neuro-linguistic programming? So also from CA to coaching. So how was the journey, and what is easier or what is tougher?
Actually, you cannot say anything easier or anything tougher. Everything has its own challenges. So what works best for me will not work for anybody else. So everyone has his or her situations and surroundings and life happenings. So that bring to a certain place. That brings a person to a certain place.
Yes.
Fine.
And Abhijit is an expert on these acronyms, you know. So Shivani has made this acronym mindset, MINDSET. She says, for M, I can learn from my mistakes. M. I can improve. N, I will never give up. MIND, determined. I'm determined to do my best. S, mindset. S is self-reflection. E, effort. You have to make the effort. And T, she says train. I says everything takes time. Whatever you do, give it time. Let the growth happen on that graph, at the bend, at that point where the exponential growth, the compounding is going to happen. That is going to take you far, far ahead at places, at things which you have never imagined. Superpower, mastery, mindset. Wonderful, great. This is a great acronym for mindset. I will remember this.
So
Yes, Abhi.
that is good. The L3, learn,
Yes,
lifelong learner,
lifelong
learn, apply, grow.
Yes.
Mindset, I think great acronym we take ahead. The word thinkovation, thinkovator,
Yeah.
and stackation, start your action. I think great. So exponential growth, compounding growth, and let's hear from the abundant growth. I think
Yes.
how do you link all three: exponential, compounding, and abundant?
Yes.
So Harish Mehta ji sir, आपका, I'd specifically called him to have his views.
Yes, Hariji.
Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, Abhijit. Always a pleasure to be listening, learning from all the people who come. Shivani, you have spoken well on what you do.
Thanks.
I need you to emphasize only one word. Consistency, consistency, consistency. I'll share my personal thought. 2012 and today is 2022. I have been using one line every day for number of times, always attracting abundance. In my signatures, in my writing, in my everything that I quote, post, speak. So my only word is consistency. And when you can do it every day, you can do it for the rest of your life. So as you said, habits, 66 days or 90 days, the will to do is important.
Yes.
The desire to do is important.
Yes.
And how the desire becomes a burning desire is who you become.
Yes.
So I'm happy to listen and learn something from you.
Yes.
I know what you manifest is what you get.
Yes.
But today, I get it every single day. So people call it miracles. I call it a norm. That's the power within you. And I must share with you, Deepak, last Saturday, I was in Delhi addressing 92 students of my college, Shri Ram College of Commerce. And I am so blessed that they were eager learners. And they said to the curriculum facilitator, Madam, can we not have this as a part of our menu card in our MBA course?
Wonderful.
How to reset your mindset.
Yes.
So, Shivani, great going, and looking forward to listen, learn from you. And wherever you feel we could do something to the greatness of the world, happy to participate with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Harishji. Thank you for
Seamless,
sharing
sir.
your thoughts. Thank you for sharing your experience. Two people, one on the speaker side, one on the audience side, both talking about abundance, both talking about mindset, both talking about collaboration. Wonderful. Bloom is blessed to have such people on our platform. Madhu, please go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you, Deepak ji. Shivani, a wonderful session. I would say I really enjoyed it, every bit of it. Yeah. I too am an NLP practitioner. It was lovely to listen to you. Yes, with all my due regards. I have one question here, Shivani. The thing is, as you said, there are 6 types of thinking. Okay. And thinking is the source for every action that we do. Am I right?
Right.
Now,
Right.
here, we are mostly into automated life, isn't it? And
Right.
that is a repetition, like 1 and 2 level of thinking we are. When we take a break, we go for holidays, maybe for a day or 2 day, a week, and we are in high spirits. We return for a while, we are in high spirits, but we are back to our automated life. And then we fall back, isn't it? So how can one maintain that consistency of that high spirit? Can you throw some light?
Actually, yeah, actually, that that needs to come from within. Actually, for what if you are you started loving the things you are doing, you would not even willing to go for a holiday from that. And the other thing is delegate in the automated and continuous process. We have the option of delegating. So you do what you love and delegate other things to other. Don't try to manage everything on yourself.
Yes.
We all have the option of delegating.
Yes.
Still, we are not growing to the extent we can grow just because we are holding on to those things.
Yes.
That
If
I
I
must
may
do
add
everything
in,
by myself.
if I may add in, permit me.
Yes.
Madhu, in life, you get what you want when you know what you want.
Yeah.
And when you know what you want well enough, use the word well enough. Well enough is clarity. When you want it well enough, it moves from want to desire and desire to burning desire, and it happens.
Yes.
So where you live is a choice, whether in abundance or in scarcity. I leave this thought with you.
Yes. Yes.
Very well said.
Yes. Whether you
Yeah.
live in scarcity or abundance is a choice. Yes, Madhu, go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
It was
you.
just a point for discussion, and
Yes.
loved hearing all. And thank you, Mehtaji. Very good. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Madhu, for joining in, and thank you for participating. Payal.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes, पूछिए, Pankaj ji पूछिए.
No, I just want to add a quote which is otherwise, but it gives a containment. There is a quote from my Gurudev Swami Chinmayanand ji.
Yes.
He says, don't cry for things which you don't have. You don't really need it. You will get whenever you will need.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yes. And these quotes like this is the wisdom which we get from our gurus, we get from our mentors. They have seen the life, it is their life experience. This works for all of us. Yes, sir.
Second one is, you don't get what you desire, you get what you deserve. And he knows the best what you deserve.
Yes, exactly. This is just wonderful. Wonderful. We are always told in spirituality, whenever we go to satsang and we listen to these discourses, they say that, we are always approaching the higher level, the whatever you want to call him or her, we can call him God. We are always approaching with him with asking for things. Mujhe ye de do, mujhe wo de do. They say that jo jaan nahi sakta, wo de nahi sakta. If he knows what is right for you, he will give it to you at the time you deserve it. He will not give it to you out of turn. Always. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing that. Payal.
I would like
Yes.
to add a point.
Yes,
That growth
Shivani.
mindset also says that whatever is made for you will never pass from you, and whatever is not for you will pass even if it stands in front of you.
Yes, exactly. So now the spiritual aspect of the discussion is coming into play. We are now deep into spirituality. Yes, Payal.
So it was a wonderful and insightful session. Thank you, dear audiences, for staying here. So my question to you is, Shivani, since you're talking about exponential growth mindset, how to develop that, and what are the strategies, and even while taking decisions, does this mindset, exponential mindset, does come with our decision making also? So some insights on that.
Actually, it can be developed. We have to connect with more people. We have to read more books and articles and more knowledgeable content over the internet. Everything is available today. So we have to dig a little deeper. How can we do it? Actually, we have to shift our mindset from it cannot be done or how can I do it to make it, how can I make it possible? How, what, or who can do this thing for me? So changing your views on the mindset like these, changing the set of questions you ask to yourself, changing your self-talk from I believe, I've achieved, saying these things to yourself will actually help you develop your develop the exponential growth mindset.
Yes, and Payal, Bloom is a living example of how things which were dreamt of became possible, are running, and we are possibly at that point of that bend of that curve. At some point, it has to go exponential. One program every day consecutively for 106 Sundays, with all the problems, with all the possibilities, with all the difficulties, the growth mindset has made it possible for Bloom to bloom. It is a Sunday afternoon, and I'm sure our families are waiting for us and them to have lunch together. I would take this opportunity to thank everyone who has joined in and stayed till the end. Our regular patrons and well-wishers, Harish ji, Brenda, Madhu, Abhijit, and everybody else, whoever has joined in. Thank you for joining in, and hope to see you next Sunday on another episode of the Sunday Bloom Talks with another expert joining in. See you there. God bless us all.
Thank you everyone for listening and making this session an interactive session. If you have any question, you can ask.
So you can connect with Shivani on LinkedIn. She is there. She is on Instagram. And of course, if you would like to speak to her personally, you can always connect with us and we can connect you to her. Thank you, everyone. God bless. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.